So wait, I'm pretty sure that you sent that message to me.
I did.
But I didn't say anything about marijuana, did I? But I also thought that it was a marijuana.
Yes.
These ladies know their football, let me tell you. They know their football team.
You're listening to The Calm,
The Storm,
The Whimsy
podcast.
So Liza and all my children love to look at my phone and snoop and see what I'm texting everybody, okay?
Uh-oh.
So my phone fell and my little glass protector cracked. So when I was trying to find one on Prime Day, I'm like, ooh, there's a privacy one. This is cool. So I bought the privacy one. So you have to be right. You can't just look at somebody's phone and read it.
Oh.
So we're in the car. And I was at a red light, and I turned my phone on and look, and Liza's looking, but she doesn't say anything. And then she's looking again, and I'm like, what are you doing? And she's like, what? I'm like, you can't see my screen, can you? She goes, what did you do? I'm like, I got a privacy screen protector. She goes, oh, she's so annoyed all day. Because every time I get a message or open Facebook, she's right there trying to read it. And then when I got home, I had to go through some messages. So they're all sitting, walking by me. They don't even know I have this yet. And they don't understand why I'm looking at a black phone. Because you can't, I'm on it. You can't see when.
I was just going to say, I can't see your screensaver even.
So they're all
here.
wait, what? I can't see your phone. I'm like, well, there's a point that you can't see my phone. And it just makes me laugh. My $5.
I might send eggplant emojis.
Just test it.
Oh my.
It's a good time. My kids are all mad at me.
That's pretty amazing.
Now do you realize how big of snoops that you are? And they're like, yeah, we got it pretty bad.
We got the snoops bad.
So I have to share that I pulled into the parking lot at my kid's school. And
a private Christian school.
And there was a car there. And I saw a staff member get out of it. And I looked at the sticker on it. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I think that's a marijuana leaf on there. What in the world is he doing with a marijuana leaf on his car? And does nobody notice?
Hey, it's legal now. So
that's true, but still kind of strange. So I said to my mom, is that a weed sticker over there?
And you sent it.
I sent it to Kelly.
And I open it. And I'm like, oh, that's cool. I'm looking at the number on the door, looking at the whole car. And I'm like, I don't understand. What's the big deal? And I'm thinking about it and looking at it. And I'm like, she thinks the Buckeye leaf is weed. So I start dying because I'm like, oh my gosh, this is a complete Ohio State Buckeye car with the numbers on the door. It says Ohio State.
Stop it.
And then it has the big old Buckeye leaf that they put on the helmet. If they have a good play, they put all the leaves on it. She thought that was a marijuana leaf. So she's like, I can't believe it. I'm like, what are you looking at?
What if I almost said something to him just to be funny.
Smoking that herb.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Is that
what it takes to work with these kids?
So wait, I'm pretty sure that you sent that message to me.
I did.
But I didn't say anything about marijuana, did I? But I also thought that it was a marijuana.
Yes.
These ladies know their football, let me tell you. They know their football team.
Because you were like, is that a staff member? And then she called me, and she's like, Hillary, that is the Buckeye.
Oh my gosh.
Oops. Now I feel like I want to tell them that story, though, because it's so funny.
I think it's amazing. I think you have to.
Yeah.
That's pretty. Are you close with this person?
No.
Oh.
But I don't care. I'll be like, hey, listen to the beginning of our podcast. Give us a download and hear a story I tell about you.
Yes, please. We need to branch out here.
Yes.
That's amazing. Okay, so I have a story. I have a lot of stories, but we won't get into every story. But this is a story that I feel like I need to tell on a podcast because it doesn't happen to everyone. And it's pretty amazing. So, on our 25-day trip, we decided to fly home from Florida after visiting my parents. My mom and I and the kids flew home, and my dad drove home. So I'm going through security, and I put all my stuff on the conveyor belt, and they motion me over to the larger, security screening. Like you have to
Hope
go
you got
through
a
the
pat
machine.
down.
So they send me through that. And so I'm up there. My arms are up. My legs are out. Everything. My shoes are off. And it goes around me. And it beeps that there is something in my crotch.
What did you do, Crystal?
And I was like, I'm like looking at these people and they're like, oh, you're going to have to step aside. We're going to have to pat you down.
Pat you?
And I was like,
So what does it
okay.
look like?
So like literally there was like this square.
The
It's
no-no
red.
square?
The no square.
And it was in the crotch area on this person that's on the screen. And they're like showing me. And I'm like,
You're like, you can't touch me there. That's my no-no square.
I'm like thinking to myself, this is so bizarre. And I didn't really know that like what this pat down was going to involve. They put the gloves on and she asks me if I want to go into a separate room or if I just want to be patted down right there. And I was thinking to myself, well, it can't be that bad, so I'll just get pat down right here. Like, okay, like, whatever. Literally patted me down.
Hold on.
Specifically in an area and was like this.
Show us where.
In every area of my crotch.
Did you make fun noises just because?
And I was laughing. I was like, seriously? Like, this is happening? Because I'm like, there is nothing down there. Very bizarre. So that was my experience on the way home in the airport.
Did you make noises like Kelly makes on a bidet?
Ooh. No, I was just laughing. And then I was thinking to myself, should I have gone to a separate room? Because this is kind of awkward. I'm not sure that I would have wanted to be in a separate
kids
room
witnessed all this
by
as they
myself.
stood there and waited for you to come
No,
through.
my mom and them were at the gate already. Because I had to still wait like a longer time. But I can honestly say I've never been patted down before.
So, by the way, just a little FYI,
Oh.
a day before or like early in the morning, if you're at the Orlando airport, you can schedule the time you're going to go through.
Yeah.
You don't have to pay for it. You just whoop right on through.
So, I mean, I can to cancel it because I haven't
that's
paid.
good.
It was like a 2-month thing, but they said that I had to pay for it to schedule.
Yeah, this was not clear. This was something completely else.
Oh.
You just
What is it?
I'll have to look. It's on like their webpage. You just go on, you click, and you pick the time frame. Like you have a half-hour window that you're going to go through that line,
Yeah,
and you
She
beat
would know
everybody.
that.
she would.
You beat everybody. You don't. They asked me to do clear. I'm like, no, I already have a reservation to go through, and you just whoop right on through.
I did see people going right through.
I mean, they still check you and like
Right.
you take your shoes off and do all of that, but
It was really strange though with Clear even because once I was like approved through the Clear kiosk, I didn't even have to show my boarding pass or my ID to security. They just walked me through.
oh, that's weird.
It was strange
Until they wanted
until they wanted to touch me. I was like, do I look like somebody that has something there?
to. Like, is this Impractical Jokers? Is somebody gonna come up?
Am I watching this? Is like Hillary and Kelly doing this to me right now?
That's awesome.
Okay. Are we ready?
I'm ready.
Welcome back to another episode. Today we're discussing a topic close to everyone's heart, love languages. Whether you appreciate words of affirmation or you thrive on acts of service, understanding these love languages can profoundly affect your relationships. In this episode, we'll explore the 5 love languages, guess each other's primary ways of giving and receiving love, and discuss how these preferences shape our connections with others. So whether you're here to learn more about your own love language or to understand your loved ones better, you're in the right place. Let's get started. What are the 5 love languages?
Quality time,
Uh-huh.
Quality time.
acts of service,
Good job.
Yeah.
gifts.
Yeah.
Yes.
Physical touch.
Oh, yep, physical touch.
Words of affirmation.
Okay, yep, there we go.
Words of affirmation.
Yes. Well, what are your love languages? Let's guess them.
Yes, let's guess them.
Yes.
Oh boy, I'm never good at this.
You guys
stuff.
can guess mine first
We
because
already
everybody
know
knows
yours,
what it is.
so we talk about it all the time. Words of
Words of
affirmation
Yes.
is definitely Hillary's love language.
I would say yours would be quality time.
I'm impressed.
Is that right?
It is. Correct.
What do you think Kelly's is?
Woo!
I think.
Okay.
Wait, let her go first.
Okay.
You know.
No, I don't.
No, I just want to
How many times did you take this test?
Too many.
Just don't even. We'll get there when we get there.
ridiculous.
So you could probably pick any and it'd be okay. It just depends on the mood when I answer them.
That is true, but I think that you have a primary love language.
Okay. I wanna
Okay,
hear
so
first.
I think that there's 2 that I can narrow it down to.
Okay.
And I'm going to go with acts of service.
That's what I would say too.
And what was the other one?
Quality time.
Okay. Okay.
Are
You think it's words of affirmation, but I don't think that it is.
Is it?
Well, according to the test, you are wrong.
Yeah.
Oh.
I got, am I supposed to say this now?
Yeah, go right for it.
I got words of affirmation first. But see, this was the problem. I'd get 2 things and it'd be like, ooh, would you like a back rub or would you like your partner to do something out of the ordinary? I'm like, I choose both. Every time. And Hillary's like, just pick the one that means the most. I'm like, well, they both mean a lot to me, so I can't pick them. I can't choose. So I'd pick one, and then I'd go down this road, and I'd get the answer. And then I'm like, I'm going to do that again. So I did it again. I did it this way. It's a good time.
That is totally who you are.
Yes.
I'm
So if the
whimsical.
test could tell you anything, you're whimsical.
So, words of affirmation I got twice.
Huh.
Nope. That's not what it was. Hang on. That's not it. Acts of service I got twice.
Yes.
And then words of affirmation was another one.
Oh, so we were right.
Yeah. Acts of service.
I
Or
like
do
all
you
of the
think
gifts.
that it's...
I feel like I need all of them equally.
I mean,
I need gifts.
I don't think
need
that you're
quality
wrong.
Time. I need physical. I need them all.
Yeah.
Right?
We all need them
do we
all.
need a box
that.
to put us in to tell us how we need to be loved?
No,
Oh.
we don't.
No, I'm just saying. But like,
Yeah.
so this guy, Gary Chapman, writes a book about the 5 love languages. Does God give us all of the, like, God gives us so many ways of love. So I'm like, you can't put me in a box.
Oh my gosh. Okay, 7.
I'm like, no way. Like, and how I love should be how God made me to love, not because of how I'm supposed to love you.
Okay, we are going to disagree a little bit.
We are.
We are.
I had to get it out there really quickly because I was feeling a little anxious
I just
about
like
it.
all of them. I need all of them. I can't pick one. I like them all.
I think that we all
That's
need a little bit of all
amazing.
of them. We
It's
do.
amazing.
Yeah.
I love it.
But I still think there's certain things that if one of those things was completely gone, you would miss it more than another.
Yeah.
I agree.
Okay, so here's the thing. When I was answering these questions, and it's like, if you are very tired and overwhelmed and your husband does an errand for you, or quality time, or your husband tells you he's proud of you, I'm like, well, this is dumb. I like both. But I'm like, he's always giving me words of affirmation and telling me all those things. But if those were missing, I would want that.
Yeah.
So then you're like, I don't know which one I
Right.
want more.
But what if it's not just with your husband? Like in general.
Oh, I didn't think about it that way.
Yeah. Like this
Like
isn't
your
about
love.
So
this
like when it
isn't
says,
about just how you feel love from
would
your
you like
spouse.
a back massage from Hillary or Crystal, or would you rather them do an errand for you?
Well, she knows that she wants me to do an errand for her and Hillary to give her a back rub.
So maybe she does want all of it.
She wants all of them.
I didn't think about it that way.
Oh my
That's funny.
goodness.
But there were a couple questions on the test that I was like, does everybody get the same questions? I'm just curious.
No, well-
no, because the one time I did it, at the end I had to pick from 3 options instead of 2
because
I
it's
kept,
trying to narrow down your crazy brain.
I have
So-
a crazy brain.
Right.
It
To
starts
pull it
to
out.
yes. So it starts to like figure out what you're picking more, and then it gives you options based on those things. As it's like weeding things.
So
out.
did you get asked if you would feel loved if your dog got walked for you?
No.
I did.
You?
Multiple
Your
times.
dog? Dog never even came up in mine.
It
Like
knows you-
3 times. It asked me if I would rather sit on a couch with my loved one or have them walk my dog.
Huh.
was
Obviously,
like, well, I
sit
don't
on
have
the
a
couch.
Well, that was an easy answer for you. I didn't get that.
I was like, that's why I asked if we all got the same
I didn't
questions.
get.
How
Would you
weird.
rather someone declutter your house, or would you rather sit with your dog on the couch? Well, Oh, that'd be hard too. I couldn't pick that either. Probably my dog.
You're. Oh my gosh.
Wait, did you get asked that?
No.
Oh,
She's ridiculous.
It's so weird. Why did I get asked dog questions?
Yeah.
I don't know. I didn't get one dog question.
You don't have to be mad about it. It's
So
okay.
weird.
It's
They're
okay.
like,
I think it was weaving out acts of service
Yes.
and quality time for me. And
Yeah.
so that's where it was like
quality
pulling
time
those,
with your dog?
Oh, heck
Yeah.
no. Yeah.
Well, not her dog.
No,
but-
like
I
acts
didn't
of
get any
service,
dog
like somebody walking my dog,
Yeah.
that would be an act of service for me.
Yeah.
They were trying to weed that out. It's not an act
I can't
of
wait
service.
to take it again just
And
to
I
see
would-
what questions.
You can't try to fail it, Kelly. Come on.
I just like to see all the things.
Oh my gosh.
Trying to fail it.
I'm not failing it.
No, you're right. You're not.
So okay, I have a question though. If you had to put them in an order for yourself, what would you do?
Oh,
So,
really?
so
I
like,
didn't think about
Yeah, go ahead. I
so
think it's great.
mine would be words of affirmation,
Yeah.
most importantly. If that's all I had out of all of them, I think I'd be good. But if I want some of all of them, because I'm okay being in a box.
You're okay with being in the box.
My second one
Two.
would be physical touch.
Ooh la la.
Yeah, I love to hug people.
Oh, yeah.
This is not just about your spouse. And then, I do need all
Oh.
of, yeah, gifts would probably be my third one. But not because I even care about a gift, but because I like the thought
the
that goes
thought.
into it.
So that's why those questions were hard.
Then
I'm
quality
terrible.
time, and then acts of service. Acts of service would be last for me because I struggle to let other people do stuff for me. I'd rather do it.
Yep. I talk about that later.
Yeah. So yours would be quality time first.
Yes, my number one would be quality time. Number two would be physical touch.
Yeah.
Number three would be words of affirmation. Actually, I'm sorry. I think
Acts of service.
words of affirmation is probably second.
Okay.
And then acts of service, physical touch, gifts.
Okay.
I love gifts.
Just try to put them in an order. You can do it. I'll do it for you. Acts of service.
Wait. I think words of affirmation is a big one.
First,
No.
Acts of service, words of
of
affirmation.
quality time.
Well, gifts, I like when people put the thought behind gifts. And then physical touch, but I like
Yeah,
physical
those two
touch.
can go
It
together.
doesn't mean you don't like them if they're
It
not.
means that you can thrive in the other areas.
Yes.
Physical touch is not your primary
Yes.
love.
But if
you
you
like to
don't
hug.
have it,
You don't like to hug.
yeah, you're.
You're not.
Pat,
You're
pat,
not.
pat.
Oh,
This is not just about you and your husband.
Yeah.
This is love in general.
okay.
Yes. It's just like the Enneagram. When
I
we talk
agree.
about our personality types, we have one main thing that describes who we are, but there are pieces of us all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I agree.
yeah, it doesn't necessarily put you in a box. She did warn me I'd be mad at her.
I say it again later. That's just the beginning. So question, for you, words of affirmation, Hillary.
Yeah.
Like, what does that look like? What words? How do you feel loved by that?
Yeah. I just think that I need to know what I mean to other people.
Okay.
Or if they notice the things that I've done, even though that could be selfish if you're not careful.
So you love by
With what?
doing acts of service or by words of affirmation?
I think it's natural for me to love by words of affirmation. But I feel like I try to love people the way that they feel the most loved.
Okay.
So I also love with acts of service, for sure.
Yeah.
And
I think you
gifts.
do. And gift.
And I love to
think
touch
that you
people.
touched people. Yeah. I mean, you hug people at restaurants that you don't know and
Yeah.
things like that.
Yeah.
But so for you,
What?
what does an act of service look like for you? Like, what does it look like to be loved that way? She's a deer in headlights right now.
I was looking at that Iron Man costume.
Oh my gosh.
Got a little sidetracked.
Thinking about
I
me
could put
in it.
that on and scare them somehow.
Oh,
She wants out of this badly.
gosh.
I just, it's super helpful when I'm
I think it would fit
I don't
you.
know. It definitely fits me.
Oh my gosh, answer the question.
What was the question?
How do you feel loved? When someone does an act of service for you, like, what does that look like for you?
It looks like they've done something for me.
That's fine.
Hillary says, no, okay.
This was an unscripted question. We can't do that with her.
Usually, if I'm feeling super overwhelmed,
Which is usually
every day, but so here's an example.
Yes.
Liza's away at camp, trying to get all these things done. My mom's going through a hard time, so I'm trying to be there for her, trying to paint Liza's room, trying to get all the other kids ready for camp. So I just feel overwhelmed. So I left because I'm like, I just need a break. And I went swimming with my kids at my brother's pool. And while I was gone, Hillary came in, organized all the stuff in her closet, rearranged it, and boxed it all up. And I'm like, oh my gosh, she probably saved me a whole day. So stuff like that.
And you had who else helping you with that?
Yeah, I had my mother-in-law and father-in-law came over and helped me paint. The boys helped me paint. Everybody was involved. Lenny helped move furniture around. It was awesome. So it's always helpful when people show me they love me through that stuff.
Yeah.
I love that.
What about you?
So I was just thinking, when we were talking about primary love language, quality time, I would not have guessed that was my primary love language.
First of all, before she continues,
What?
I wish that everybody could see her using quotation marks with her fingers, shaking her head, rolling her eyes. This is not her favorite topic.
Actually, I think it is my favorite topic to debunk.
Because you can challenge it.
I'm the devil's advocate.
All right, continue.
Okay. No, I just enjoy undivided time with my friends, my family, and those that I love. And so, meaningful conversations and just being together. I would not have said that that's something that I enjoy, but I know that is. I want to be the physical touch person. I want to be oh yeah, physical touch is my number one thing.
Yeah.
And it's not.
Yeah.
And so I just think that's interesting when we answer questions. And one of my questions also was do you like to have meaningful political conversations?
Oh, heck yeah.
Yes. But 10 years ago, probably not. So I feel we evolve over time.
How did it
also.
know that? Is it the
Isn't
AI
it weird?
thing? I was talking about peeling eggs this morning, and sure on Facebook, there's the best way to peel eggs. So maybe
so
your
weird.
love language thing is ooh, let's put the political conversation in crystals.
And the dog.
The dog? What? I didn't get that.
I know, it's weird. I did not search dogs, so I don't know why it came up. Did you hear my conversation?
Oh my god.
Oh, you know how I hate dogs, AI. Oh my gosh. So how do you think your upbringing and past experiences affect your love language?
I'll go, because this one's pretty easy for me. So my parents serve each other very well. They have their whole life. So I think that's part of it, because I've seen my dad bend over backwards for my mom and do all the stuff she needs, and he's the one that runs to this, he'll run to the store if she's needing something. My mom goes out of her way to help people feel loved by planning a trip when her good friend has cancer and is passing away, getting it all paid for. She makes pies just to help people feel loved, or make them a meal or whatever. She's always doing something to serve somebody else. So, I don't know. I think that's a big part of why I need that.
So, you
just means
grew
a lot.
up, and so you see that as being, the way that you primarily love
And
are loved, feel loved.
Yeah.
Interesting. I'll go. So, years ago, I would have said that my primary love language was receiving gifts. I was raised by a mom who showed love by giving gifts. And so she buys things, she gives things, she loves well through that. And so I received gifts and felt loved by her in that way. So I believed and understood that was what my love language was to receive gifts. So I feel that's not my I'm terrible at gift giving. I'm terrible at all of those things. And so I think about in that process, I'm I think that was my mom's love language. I think about it now, and I know now that I'm also a minimalist, and I don't do a whole lot of we don't buy gifts for each other like Aaron and I, and it's not important to us and things like that. And so I feel like I just falsified like what my love language was, being like, oh, I love gifts. I still am the person who gets the most gifts at Christmas. But it's just interesting to me because I feel like I felt that had to have been my love language because that's how I felt loved.
Yeah.
Or like how
What
I
you were
was
used
loved.
to,
Yeah.
yeah.
And so that just had to be natural. Like that just had to be my love language.
So I think it can go one of two ways. You either have a way that you feel loved because of what you did experience and witness as a kid or what was lacking.
Mm-hmm.
And I think for me, the words of affirmation was lacking. So I don't know. I think that's what fills me up now is when I know how people feel about me. They tell me, I know what they see in me. I know when they're proud of me, like I need to hear those things. And it's funny because if you think about like coming from my childhood, so I'm just going to say my dad specifically wasn't like affectionate really or really wordy. So that's probably why those are my two top love languages because that's something that I desired or desire now because I didn't really have that growing up. So it was funny because I was listening to the book and he was actually saying like people typically are more like Kelly where what they've experienced is how they feel loved. And for me, I feel like it's the opposite. What I didn't experience is how I feel loved. But that comes from what was his childhood, what shaped him to not be wordy and affectionate. How did he get shown love to then show love his way? So it's just funny to like really think through all of that.
Yeah.
But I think, yes, your childhood affects you. It's either going to send you
Positive or
one way or
negative.
the other.
Yeah. I mean, and I think too, like, it's interesting just the whole like nurture versus nature and like how you experience and expect to be loved comes from how you are loved or not shown love.
Mixed with personality.
Absolutely.
Because I think your personality also affects that.
For sure. How do you think understanding someone's love language can improve a relationship?
I just feel like if you know what they need and you give it to them, it's just going to help the two of you be closer.
Yeah.
And they'll feel loved by you because you're going, even if it's not the way you show love, usually you're doing what they need.
Yeah. I think it's natural for us to show love the way we feel loved. But so like we've all been on mission trips, right? When you go on a missions trip, if you don't speak their language, you're doing everything you can possibly think of to try to communicate with them and show them that you care about them, but it's like a little bit awkward and you don't have like a really good connection with them as if you spoke the same language.
Oh, yeah.
So if we could speak their language, they would feel what we were trying to tell them more and experience it more. So when I go clean out a closet, which if you came to my house and cleaned out a closet, I'd be like, what the actual heck did you just do? Why would you do that? I don't want my closet cleaned out by you. What did you find? It was probably a mess. Like I would be like, but that is not how I would feel loved.
Yeah.
But me trying to understand that about someone else, like that's speaking their language. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I think it is important. Mm-hmm. Without putting them in a box, of course.
Oh, I know. I know. Oh, I have a hard time with this.
Yeah.
Because I do feel like you put people and yourself. I feel like I get put into a box. Because I feel like love in itself is a gift. Mm-hmm. And so I struggle with like, for instance, like, oh, Aaron needs to be loved this way. And if I don't do it right, then I am not loving him well. But yet I love him well. And so like, I struggle with like that back and forth of being like, I don't even know what Aaron's love language is.
Yeah.
Like we talked about it last night. He hasn't taken the test ever. Never. And I think that his love language is words of affirmation. And because he needs me to tell him, like, how well he's doing as a man and all those things. And we talked about this, but like, it's just interesting to me that I kind of just naturally do that. Like, I don't even know what his love language is. And I feel like I'm kind of a person that's like, I'll just take whatever love you're going to give me because I don't know. I don't want to be put into that box. And
is he going to take the test? That's why I left earlier.
I try.
We should make our husbands take the test.
I know. I told him that he should, and I don't know if he will. Like, he has 8 days away, and he could take the test. I sent it to him.
He could take it 10 times.
It could be all 5. All 5 love languages are primary for me. But I just feel like, yeah. So, like, is that the only way that I should love you? And so I know she's rolling her eyes at me.
No, I didn't roll my eyes.
Almost.
Did I?
Almost.
I wasn't. I didn't. So this is. Can I say something to you though?
I'm a dude. Okay.
Yeah, I know. We know. We talked about it.
You're telling us this now.
God created me different, and I don't know why. I'm not coming out or anything.
Oh my gosh. Okay. I actually agree with what you're saying, and I understand that. It's kind of like the Enneagram, too. We're going to talk about the Enneagram one day.
So much eye rolls happening in this little room right now.
I told her we were going to fight today.
But I'm not fighting with you.
We're not fighting, guys. We love each other.
But it's the same with the Enneagram. Because if I look at my personality type and I say, this is what I am. I am a 2. I'm a helper. There is no good, or all the good things are who I am, that the personality type says, and all the bad things are who I am, then I am putting myself in a box.
Right.
But all it's saying is that's like my dominant personality type.
Yes.
This is your your main love language, but it doesn't mean that you can't show people love other ways as well.
Yes. I know. I think that this is like, okay, so again, a book written by a man who says that these are the 5 love languages and the ways that you can be loved. And I'm just saying that. I struggle with it because I feel like God loves us in many ways. And there's not one way that I feel more loved by God in this way. And so then when God says to love, he doesn't say love this way or love this way. He just says to love.
Yeah, I get it.
Do I think that it improves relationships? I think it absolutely does.
Yeah.
That is very important because I'm sure without quality time, I probably wouldn't be a very happy person.
Right.
Can you think of a time when someone showed you love in a way that wasn't your primary love language, but you still felt loved and appreciated?
Yes. I feel like, I'm not sure that I have a specific example, but just any of the 5 love languages. And I rolled my eyes again.
There's only 5.
There are more than 5. Those are just identifiers. Any of those things make me feel loved. So anytime somebody really just goes out of their way to be thoughtful or care for me, I felt love, even if it's not words of affirmation.
All right. So I was talking with Lenny about this because sometimes I need help remembering things. So we were talking last night, and I'm like, I'm trying to think of a time when I was loved, not in acts of service, but a different way. And he's like, oh, I have the perfect example. Like during 2020, we went through a really hard time, like got displaced from our church, which was his job. And we just felt like super down and just kind of lost. And Hillary made this video from all these people that we have worked with in ministry along the years. And they just gave us words of affirmation. And it was exactly what we needed. So it's good.
Yeah. Acts of service, even though it cringes me to allow someone to do something for me.
It's hard. Yeah.
If Aaron or Hillary or Kelly or somebody just goes out of their way to like do something. So for instance, I was thinking of like Aaron specifically helped me around the house without me asking him. So if I am struggling and I'm working hard and I'm doing all the things and he just picks up and starts doing something, it's really hard for me to accept that.
That doesn't feel like love. That feels like I did something wrong.
Like I didn't do it right. I didn't do enough or
Right.
something. But at the same time, I'm like, oh, I'm never going to ask you to do it. And so you chose to do it. And so I'm going to have to accept that that's like,
Yeah.
you are loving me through that, even though that's something that I wouldn't have been like,
Yeah.
love me this way.
Right. Yeah.
So, but yeah. Do you think it's important for your significant other to prioritize your love language, even if it isn't your own preferred way of receiving love?
Absolutely not.
Why or why not?
Even if
No.
it's, read that question again. If it isn't your preferred way?
Yeah.
Wait, read it again.
Do you think it's important for your significant other to prioritize your love, even if it isn't their own
Their
preferred way of receiving love?
No. It's not important. I'm just kidding.
It's not important. Nope, you're done. If you don't want to be loved this way.
I think it's important because if they know that that's how you need to be, you like to feel loved, it just shows that they've gone out of their way to make sure you feel loved that way.
Mm-hmm.
I agree. I think it's hard
Yeah.
because I don't think that everyone knows how to love in all the ways that their significant other needs to be loved.
I agree with that.
So I think that it is hard.
Yeah.
And I think that that's why a lot of people struggle.
Yeah. So it's funny because I think that you're making me question if I put myself in a box. Like,
Oh.
like
Yeah, I know. Mhm.
No matter what,
Yes.
I'm always going to feel the most loved with words of affirmation. I crave it. I desire it. It makes me feel like energized. It makes me want to like conquer the world when somebody makes sure that they try to meet my love language. But, so I was talking to my husband about this because we struggle with the love language idea. Because he probably would relate very well with what you're saying, with like, I show you I love you, but it's not the way you want me to. And I think that on both sides, that's true. Like, it's okay for me to say, I need this from you, and to see you giving me that. But it's also not okay for me to not notice the things outside of words of affirmation.
Sure.
And it's easier for me, to focus on what you want to happen versus what's
Be
happening.
like, this is not happening.
Yeah. So I asked him, I'm like, what am I supposed to say when they ask me this question? Like when we ask this question, because I don't want to like put anything negative out there. And he said, oh, just tell people the truth. Like, I'm really not good at words of affirmation. Like, it's hard for us. And it is. Like, we have to work really hard at it and communicate well and talk through that stuff. But for a while, and I would suggest this for anyone who may be in this kind of scenario, I used to write down like a list, he probably doesn't even know this, of the ways that he did make me feel loved so that I could remember, like, just because he's not screaming it from the mountaintops doesn't mean like these things aren't happening. And the one thing that, like, on Father's Day last year, he posted something on Facebook basically saying, like, I know this is about fathers, but, like, without Hillary and her sacrifice and, like, all these things, like, I wouldn't even get to have a Father's Day. And, like, those moments mean more because they're not forced either. And it's not necessarily because I'm asking for them. So I think it is important to work at those things and to know the people that you consider most precious to you, what matters to them, and to work for that.
Yeah.
But it's also important on the receiving end to love them unconditionally, not with, but this is what I need, and if I don't get it, then there's a problem, which it's easy to do that. I will say, too, when I was listening to the book, another thing he said that stood out to me was you can love someone well, but it might not feel as sincere to them because their love language is how your love gets through. So, like, even if you're loving Aaron well, like you were saying, you love him in all the ways, you show him all the ways, but it might just feel more sincere at times. If it's how he feels the most loved, it'll get through to him easier. So, I don't know. I see it on both sides.
Sure. Yeah. I think I don't know what I think.
I think you see it on both sides too.
I do, because I see like how I would want to be loved, even though I say the things like, oh, I feel loved in all different ways. And I do, but I think that's my personality though.
Yeah.
So like if somebody gives me a gift, I'm going to feel loved. If somebody does something for me, I'm also going to feel very loved.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of like, why do we have to put it all into these things? For me, I'm also, again, I have that like dude, as you called it before, mentality of where I'm like, wow, this is really overwhelming for me.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure that I could live up to meeting everybody's love language the way that they want to be loved. You know what I'm saying? Like, and so like when I think of like all these things, I'm like, oh gosh, like I can't do any of this well. So I don't know. I might as well not love. Like
that's also not true at all.
But yeah, there's just so many things. But yeah,
that makes sense though.
So
I think the most important takeaway for all of us is it's actually not about other people and how they love you. Like we should love people to the best of our ability and the way that we think that they feel the most love from us unconditionally. Mm-hmm. No return, no expectations. And that's really hard to do.
Yeah, I agree. Okay. As we come to the conclusion of our episode of Love Languages, thank you for joining us as we explore how these languages influence our relationships and the way we express affection. We hope this episode helps you better communicate love in ways that resonate most with you and your significant others. Remember, understanding and embracing our differences is a key to building stronger, more fulfilling relationships. Don't forget to share your thoughts on this episode. Until next time, keep loving and living with curiosity and kindness. Thank you, and see you in the next episode. Thank you for listening to the Calm, the Storm, the Whimsy podcast. Follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Facebook, and Instagram. Stay tuned for our next episode.
Over. I'm tired. What's that song?
What?
The 10 little monkeys jumping in the bed, and the one little monkey said, roll. What? I don't